Coming to you live from the rinks in Oppog, you're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. Capping off a three-game set here on this Friday night, December the 12th, with a varsity matchup between KPC and Middle Country. Thanks for tuning in here at LI Sports Network. Ryan Brownigan joined alongside our cameraman Frank Potato. Kevin Broderick also here in support as we get set for this, as I mentioned, final game of a three-game set. KPC, Middle Country. They played once before back on October the 8th. It was KPC with a 6-goal victory, 8-2 over Middle Country. Middle Country, though, have some signature wins and, well, one signature tie to their name so far this season. The tie I'm referring to back on Friday, November 7th, they squared off against first place St. Anthony and tied them 3-3 to show just about what they are capable of when they're at their best. Their wins this year have come against the bottom teams in the standings, them being West Islip, Ward Melville, and Pat Med. They narrowly lost 4-3 to Northport Huntington. Most recently there, that was Wednesday, November 19th. They're going to want to forget about their last game they played. That was against Sachem 2 days ago, in which Sachem lit up Middle Country 14-2. And what was their biggest loss in terms of margin of goals so far on the season. Those 14 goals, also the most they have allowed all year. Declan Monkwitz is the driver of this Middle Country team. 23 points in 12 games played for the defenseman, who in our last game we were discussing the breaking news that Quinn Hughes was traded in a blockbuster trade from Vancouver to Minnesota in exchange for a couple of top-tier prospects, Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, Zeev Buim, and a first-round pick of the Wild. And Declan Monkwitz is who Kevin Broderick pointed out as his comparison to Quinn Hughes in terms of the Suffolk County High School Hockey League varsity level. Well, who would be the Quinn Hughes of the SCHSHL? I think Declan Monkwitz is a great choice to fit that comparison. Certainly going to get a look, as I'm sure most players of that point-producing caliber will, for the All-Star game, which is fast approaching. Excited to get a chance to draft the team against my fellow play-by-play mates in that game coming up in about a couple weeks' time. As we get a look on the other side of the ice for KPC. Again, they are 7-5 on the year, coming off a miraculous 6-5 overtime win against West Islip. Game they were trailing for most of. Came back to get the win in overtime. Sapoff had one of the greatest goaltending performances I have seen in the varsity level in that game. All of their losses this year have come against the top teams in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League, those being Sachem, East Islip, St. Anthony, and Smithtown Hauppauge. They lost big to Sachem twice, who have had their number. We're looking to make it 2 in a row are KPC, and leading them in terms of the stats category is another defenseman, Max Ladzinski. And Ladzinski, 15 points, 9 goals in 10 games played. Connor Coco and Sia Froen up front, carrying over from playing on varsity a season ago. Have stepped up well in their new roles as we're set for puck drop. Jackson Murray getting the start in net for KPC up against Kenneth Bridgeford Jr. of Middle Country. And here's McMillan with the puck. Jackallard makes sure he stays onside. And the puck rolls in behind. Goaltender Murray, now shot, left pad save made by Murray. As Middle Country start off with the offensive zone possession. Carried up by Spylacinski, has his pocket picked by Konjema, rolls on to Murray, who plays it to his winger on that side, Pascal. Looking for the stretch pass to Mealy. Rolls all the way down, Norris to play it for MC. Here's Captain Declan Monkwitz. And he'll nudge one into open space for McGee. McGee is second consecutive year on varsity, carries in behind. McGee to Missarella. Missarella can't quite pull the trigger. Coming over from Longwood. There's a shot shrugged off. Taken by Missarella. Good save made by Murray. But a good start here for Middle Country, as I mentioned, coming off that 14-2 battering against Sachem. KPC established the red line and send in. That was Honigman. Nicholas Brown trying to get a touch. But McGee prevails in the neutral zone. Ian McGee poked off his stick. Missarella drops for McGee. McGee try to return to Missarella. Rolls down and behind, and a forechecking Mike Maturiello. McGee. Missarella, 2-on-2, battling Coco and Ciafrone, who I mentioned off the top. Making as well their second straight appearances on varsity. And here's Benoit. And played with Longwood JV a season ago. Benoit, as it knocked off his stick, picked up by Brown. Brown centers and poked onto the stick of Ledzinski, who lets one fly high and wide. Monkwitz running into trouble in behind the goal line, but eventually able to get it ahead to Martorello. Martorello, an area pass knocked away. Good defensive play made that time by KPC's Jack Scott. And now Monkwitz carries in. Monkwitz knocked off his stick. Maturiello try to drive to the front of the net. Scott having none of it. Now skated up ice by Honigman. Drops for Ledzinski. Wrister. Blocker save made by Bridgeford Jr. Try to go right back to the front of the net. Hit a body. And banked to the wing, not out. Held in by Ledzinski. Another chance to clear here for Norris. Logan Norris. And Monkwitz stalled at the line. Borzumato, part of the back check for KPC. Monkwitz goes across to McMillan. McMillan down the far boards onto the stick of Scott. As we are nearly 4 minutes through this first period of basically whistle-free hockey. Borzumato walks, fires, blocked by Monkwitz. Picked up behind the net, Pascal. Plays it back to the point, reading it all the way, taking it away, Martorello. Going to work on Ebley. A good job by Ebley to get back, as that was Coco who sent that pass across. He's got it in behind. Martorello hard on the back check. The former ESM Shark JV team won them their first ever SCHSHL championship at the JV level, any level, as that backhand shot flings wide. Mealy. Challenged by Norris. Mealy's stick goes flying into the far corner, and Grayson Benoit has it taken away by Ciafrone. Out in front, and a nifty stick provided there by Graziano, deflected it over. And then another shot toward Bridgeford Jr. He makes another save, and crashing hard in front was Mealy, and Mealy given a lot of benefit of the doubt. Is that Norris in front? I believe it was. Perhaps they're teammates on a travel team or once were, not sure. With Logan Norris. And Amelie there, sharing that exchange. Face off to the right of Bridgeford Jr. Honigman to take the draw from Benoit. Benoit, usually a defenseman, came in to take that face off. Munkwitz trying to steer it out of harm's way in front of the net. Grayson Benoit trying to help it out. Puck still along the near wall, and now it does come to McGee. McGee trying to generate an odd-man rush as Munkwitz going to the net. McGee, shot, save made. Rebound, McGee trying to center it. Went off the side of the net. Good play by Munkwitz to take control in behind. Munkwitz on the backhand, now forehand near circle. Munkwitz just tapping it out in front for Graziano, and he was stopped by Jackson Murray. Declan Munkwitz carries in, hard on the puck, drops for McGee, wrister, blocker save made by Murray. And we'll take another look at that last sequence. Great play here by Munkwitz as he establishes the zone, attracts the defenders, and watch the little feather tap back. Sets up McGee, drags, fires, that's a good save made by Murray. 9:03 left here in the first. You're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. Be sure to hit subscribe. Give us a follow on socials at LI Sports Network. Tons of great stuff can be found on there as McMillan centers, rejected by Coco. Back to the line for a rip and a stick save made again by Jackson Murray. Munkwitz pinching in on the near boards. Comes back, McMillan, shot wide. Norris in front. Working on Ebley. And the loose puck squirts free to Ciafrone, who makes his way up ice with speed. Ciafrone, shot, scores! Gorgeous goal on the rush up ice by Jackson Ciafrone. 1-0 KPC. Ninth of the year for Ciafrone. Does it all himself. Impressively so. And in a game with very few whistles, already nearly halfway gone here in the first, the Knights on the board. In a period that really has been controlled by Middle Country, I'd say, for the most part. Not entirely by any stretch, but either way, Missarella hands it back. D-to-D pass now for Munkwitz. Munkwitz, rink-wide feed in the skates of Missarella. Along that far boards, in comes McGee. McGee on the backhand, centers one, nearly deflected on goal. Went wide. It was Coco out in front. Now a quick passing play. Save made Murray. Rebound. No, none could come. It was Congemma in front. McGee to Benoit. Good feed. Benoit off a skate on goal. And another alert stop made by Murray. Clearing attempt fails. We get a stoppage, however. Not sure what for. 7:15 left here in the opening period. Ciafrone unassisted. Only scoring. Murray has looked sharp early for the Knights. I was also mentioning to Kevin last game just how good the goaltending depth is here in the SCHSHL. Here's Mealy. Man rush, shot, save made by Bridgeford Jr. Whereas every school has at least one really good goaltender, it seems, at the varsity level and really all levels. Some schools obviously with more than one. Puck deflects into the air. McGee trying to get on the other end of it. Punched ahead defensively by Jack Scott. Here's Pascal walking down the left wing side into the zone. Still in the zone as Honigman feeds the front of the net, and Pascal with his back turned toward the goal, unable to get back around to it. Here's Missarella in with speed. Missarella can't get around Ledzinski. Turnover, Missarella, glove save, Murray! Robs Missarella out in front. Murray came into the contest a 587 GAA, though that can be deceiving depending on the level of competition that you play, as well as not accounting for save percentage, which would be a better measure. Off the boards, a rip from Benoit, denied by Murray. As it was one of the toughest things to try to narrow down for the All-Star game. Not that any decision's been final yet, but trying to narrow down just a handful of goaltenders to select is an impossible task, as a high-rising Benoit shot missed his intended target out in front, which would be the stick of the screening McMillan. A 5:40 left first period. Middle Country pushing for the equalizer. Coco takes it in behind. Connor Coco shielded off by McMillan. Jacquillard trying to help out as well. Puck along the far boards eventually comes to McMillan. Swept it to the middle of the ice, or it's taken back by KPC. Ciafrone with the opening goal, plays it down low to Brown. Brown trying to go to Kovacs backdoor. Now Ciafrone, and a save made. Bridgeford Jr. off the chaotic deflection in front. Bridgeford Jr. up to the task. So often you see those quick redirected pucks that end up in the slot, buried for goals. Credit to Bridgeford Jr. for maintaining his goaltending posture. That's face-off win for KPC. Scott fanned on the shot, tried to backhand it back toward the front of the net. Kovacs is there, as well as Norris. Brown in the far corner. Missarella comes over to challenge him, and now the puck does come to Missarella, who needs to check his bank account because he was robbed by Jackson Murray earlier this game. Ciafrone. Long wrist shot, save made. Bridgeford Jr. picked up with speed by Missarella. Sends ahead to Norris on goal. Stick to the corner by Murray. McGee can't keep in now. Flipped over the head of Graziano all the way down, and will just have enough for icing. And I believe in no rush to get that puck, knowing it would be icing, was Middle Country defenseman Grayson Benoit, as Missarella steps in to take the draw. Here's Munkwitz spinning out of trouble, got it to Missarella, and that pass just a little bit behind Kangema. Kangema, though, able to get it back to the far point in Munkwitz. Munkwitz and company forced out of the zone. Benoit has his pocket picked by Honigman, who plays it back in the zone, past the stick of Ledzinski, on goal to Murray, back to Ledzinski. Connecting with Borzumato. Borzumato, the Long Island Royal, takes up ice, number 21. In the circle, far near circle, shot save made Bridgeford Jr. Munkwitz says, give me that puck, let's play on. Munkwitz down the right wing boards. One-on-one here with Ledzinski. Goes around Ledzinski. Ledzinski coming back. Makes a good recovery. Forces Munkwitz in behind. Now Munkwitz shoved down by Honigman. Honigman, another LI Royal, as that Pass ahead of Mealy. Mealy still able to center it, hoping to get it over to the assistant captain defenseman Ledzinski, who jumped into the play. And now Missarella deflects in. McGee on his horse on the forecheck. Greets Ebley to the puck. Ebley prevails and now has plenty of time to chart his way up ice. Pass off the stick of Mealy, and regrouping in the MC zone is Norris. Fanned on the pass, but eventually did get to Morturiello. Well, I apologize. I've been calling Martorello this whole time. It does look pretty similar, but those slight differences. Want to get it right. Yeah, Kevin nodding. Turnover! Save made, Bridgeford Jr. Rebound out in front. It somehow wouldn't go. My goodness. And here's Marturiello. Skates it free, backhands in on the stick of Ebley, who intercepted. Ebley in trouble with Jacquillard. Still not out. And now flung down ice by Captain Jackson Ciafrone, down for an icing. Let's take another look at this last Bridgeford Jr. save, or two. Comes off an uncharacteristic turnover from Marturiello. Save made Bridgeford Jr. It's this one that he's back to the play. Oh my goodness. KPC that close to extending the 1-goal lead they've established. Face off to the right of Murray. Cirella wins it. Long shot deflects wide. As providing the screen out in front that time, Missarella. Benoit try to drop it to McGee. It's fired in and around the boards all the way down. Declan Monkwitz first on it. Back in his own zone. Takes it in behind Bridgeford Jr. Minute 34 left here, first period. Declan Monkwitz on the tape. Missarella, it's in his skates. Dragged by McGee. Shot. Not sure if it ever got through to Murray. Popped into the air onto the stick of Benoit. Benoit to Missarella. Try to go back to Benoit. Didn't quite have the juice. Brown. Back the other way for KPC. Into the zone, Brown. Met by Monkwitz. Creates the turnover. Puck along the near boards right by the blue line. Eventually worked free. And all the way down, it'll be an icing on Middle Country. I like it. Kevin showing me his graphic for his senior capstone project, all about the affordability of hockey, which I'm sure if you're listening, or either to my right or left, you know all about the affordability, or lack thereof, of hockey. There is no affordability, says a fan to my right.
Are you guys related to
Jim
Jim Drum?
Drum?
Yeah.
I don't. Can't say I know a Jim Drum. Here's Honigman out in front. Here's Ian McGee. Thwarted at the line. Well, Jim, if you're listening, it's Connor Coco. Right wing side, centers one. Open to get it to Honigman. And now Honigman forced out of the zone by Jacquillard. Retreating in his own zone is Honigman. No Haberman tonight, or Delio, or Mezzazalma, it would appear, for KPC. All key players out of the lineup as we hit double zeros in the first period. 1-0, Jackson Ciafrone, the opening goal, making the difference so far in this one. I'll step aside here on the LI Sports Network. You're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League. 1-0 KPC after one. So 15 minutes down, 30 to go. Welcome back to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League here on LI Sports Network. Second period on its way. In what was an evenly matched first period. KPC and that Ciafrone goal, which you saw in the highlight package in between. The difference maker so far is just a tear off sides as McGee was trying to get back onside for the streaking Missarella. Didn't quite have the timing just right there, so early whistle. And there weren't many, I should say, whistles in that first period. Some good up and down hockey, some great saves from Murray and Bridgeford respectively. You saw the glove save from Murray. As here's Maturiello. Wrist shot, save made. Back to Maturiello. That one along the ice deflects just wide off the stick of Missarella in front. Maturiello with Ciafrone bearing down on him, lifts it ahead over the stick of Norris. And Maturiello back defensively for Middle Country, typically playing forward, is Mike Maturiello. As Ludzinski running into trouble with the forechecking Norris, but Ludzinski able to prevail. Sent one ahead. It was an onside play. Missarella, understandably so, was worried about offside and then creates the turnover. Kongema coming up the other way. Knifed away by Ludzinski. Kongema tried to spring it down the boards. Intercepted. Here's a chance for Graziano. Shot blocked. Maturiello keeps in. Kongema leading him. Sends it across, hoping backdoor Norris. And just missed. Jack Scott punched it around to the line, not out. Graziano out in front, never got through. And nearly a breakaway the other way for Ciafrone, but Graziano able to get in front of the puck and put it right back into the KPC zone. Jackson Murray, true difference maker thus far in this one. As Middle Country continue to press. Graziano shot, right pad save made by Murray. Spinning one on goal. Another save made by Murray was Missarella. Maturiello, back door open for Graziano. Had to take it on the backhand. Banks one back to Missarella. Shot blocked. And Ciafrone able to backhand it out of the zone. Missarella tracks back to it, hits Maturiello. Graziano has it knocked away from him, but not out of the zone. McMillan's shot deflects up and out of play. Caught by the netting in behind, where it's joined by another puck. With 12:28 left here in the second period. Throw 2 seconds back on. Face off to the right of Murray. McMillan falls down. Ebley trying to clear it out. The near boards. Coco reverses. And found its way to Pascal. Now Ebley skates in. Ebley, whose sibling playing goal for the JV team in the last game, had a good performance and a 6-3 win against Smithtown Hauppauge JV Blue. Norris sends it back to McMillan, tries to float it across to Monkwitz. Glove down in the neutral zone, and now KPC look to break out. Honigman bothered from behind by Monkwitz, and Grayson Benoit will do the rest. Norris has it roll off the end of his stick, right onto the stick of Benoit. Here is Benoit letting one rip, save made, big rebound, and Norris unable to get on the other end of it. Pascal with Coco darting to the net. Pascal backhands one out in front. Coco scores! He batted it out of midair. With baseball season heavy in the offseason, it's Coco flashing the hand-eye off the stick of Bridgeford Jr. and What a goal for the KPC captain, makes it 2-0. For Coco, his 6th of the season, 14th point. Doubles the Knights' lead over the Cougars. And it's really been those turnover chances. We get another here and they score! Borzumato right on cue. Just seconds after Coco made it 2-0, it's 3-0 KPC. Fans on the pass in the worst possible moment for Michael Marturiello. And just like that, a 1-0 game is a 3-0 game as Antonio Borzumato pots his 6th of the season. Unassisted. Benoit down the near half wall and around to Graziano. Middle Country really have had the better of the offensive zone time. It's been the transition chances. Here's one for MC, and Jacquillard couldn't quite pull the trigger on a good net front feed by Graziano, who steps to it here. Down the wall, Jacquillard with Missarella in front. Try to feed Missarella. Ciafrone got in the way of it. Graziano steps up with a poke, takes it back, flings one wide. Coco, pardon, that's Ciafrone. Not enough for icing. Kovacs flipped across, hoping for Borzumato, backdoor. Never got a touch. KPC trying to come right back in. It is Antonio Borzumato. Save made, Bridgeford Jr. It leaked by him, but wide of the net. Stabbed out and ahead for Conjema. Ciafrone holds in, lofted high into the neutral zone, and will die before it has any risk of icing. Lazinski gave it up to Missarella, poked away by Jackson Murray. McMillan creates the turnover on the forecheck. Puts one out in front, on back for Monkwitz, save made. Murray, rebound. Backhanded wide by Missarella. Nice play by McGee to take back for MC. McGee to Monkwitz. Monkwitz looking for a tip, save, rebound, diving, making the save, Jackson Murray. Again, Middle Country press for a goal and have some real good looks in the process. But Jackson Murray standing tall in behind the net for KPC, keeping the Cougars off the board. Here is Brown to Pascal. In behind, McGee will take over for the Cougars. Declan Monkwitz. Springs forward Graziano with McMillan and Norris. Graziano hits the brakes. Challenged by Coco. Good defense there from Connor Coco. Glove down. Wheeling is McGee. Down to Morris. Played it out in front. And McMillan unable to get a stick on it. Back with Ian McGee. McGee goes down. No penalty. We play on. Graziano fighting off a check. Spins one out in front. Save made by Murray. McMillan now with it. Backhands across. Sprawling Murray. Not sure if it ever got through to him. McMillan and Brown battle in the far corner. Again knocking on the door, Middle Country. And finally, KPC gained possession and skating it free. Connor Coco. Nearly a break for Honigman. Puck smacked away by the defensive stick of Graziano. As well, Monkwitz was back. Hit there from Norris. Generates the turnover in the neutral zone. Monkwitz steps away from a few. Monkwitz, he goes down. No call. Brown Taken away by Missarella, but he used his glove, so Norris couldn't get a touch on it. And Honigman off the bank for KPC. 7 minutes, 10 seconds left here, second period. 3-0 Knights on a couple of quickies here in the second. With goals scored, it says officially 10 seconds apart. Borzumato and Coco's goals. Mealy getting an assist on the Coco marker. And for Michael Mealy, it is his 6th point of the season. Kovacs delicately places it into the middle country zone where Monkwitz can send ahead Marturiello. Marturiello circling the net. Continue to cycle. Space shoots. Knocked down in front by Norris, who tried to play it back door to Missarella. It's a little off on the timing. Now that shot for Missarella blocked in front by Norris, who gets shoved down and gives Ledzinski a little shove back. That's as far as that will escalate. Middle Country will go to the power play. Cross-checking would be my guess on the call. With 6:03 left here in the middle period. And that is the call. Cross-checking against Max Ledzinski. Marturiello holds in near point. Across to Monkwitz. Shot off a stick and wide. Benoit. Back to Marturiello. Spins away. Marturiello across out of the reach of Monkwitz. Catches it off the boards. Plays it out in front in the skates of Graziano. Another shot. Monkwitz save. Rebound. Save made. Jackson Murray. Minute 33 left here in the power play. A couple of good looks early on for Middle Country. Missarella to take the ensuing draw. Lost it, and it's cleared by Kings Park Commack. Benoit with Pascal monitoring him. Benoit will try again, gets away from Borzumato. Grayson Benoit cuts middle. Played it behind Monkwitz. Monkwitz slings it around the wall. Back to the near side where Marturiello runs into trouble and the puck deflects out of play. Our own Kevin Broderick flipping the puck back to the official. He's down there collecting B-roll. Face off to the right of Jackson Murray. Still a minute and 1 second left on the power play for Middle Country, who have played well in this game but find themselves down by 3. As Kings Park Commack have been very opportunistic in burying their high-quality chances. Here's a turnover. Great play, Borzumato. Monkwitz hustling back into the play and forces not the best shot there from Borzumato. Great job by Monkwitz getting back. On a good play, though, by Borzumato as that shot high and wide. Might have glanced off Bridgeford Jr., taken by Honigman. Monkwitz off the skates of McMillan and tapped in by Norris. Ledzinski, pardon me, that's Honigman around 2. Honigman with speed. As Ledzinski remains in the box, of course. That shot goes in! Borzumato short-handed after that first attempt was thwarted in large part by Monkwitz. Buries that one. It's 4-0. Sharp angle shot off the stick of Bridgeford Jr. and in the back of the net. I'm sure that's one Bridgeford Jr. wants back. It's 4-0 KPC. And a deflating goal to allow for Middle Country. Monkwitz trying to turn the tide. Brings it in around. We're back to even strength. As Monkwitz's shot just goes wide. McGee looked like he got a stick on it as well. Mealy has Ciafrone. Ciafrone darting into the zone, drops to Brown. Brown a wrist shot wide. Jackson Ciafrone across to Brown. Brown backdoor play, score! So another pair of quick goals for KPC, have them ahead 5-0. On a good pass as Brown just outweights McGee, lets him slide by him, and then a good stick in tight by Michael Mealy. Gives KPC the 5-goal edge as this puck glanced out of play. Mealy's second point here tonight, as Borzumato scored his second goal as well. So Borzumato up to 7 on the year, and Mealy up to 7 points on the season. Long shot from the point, steered to the corner by Bridgeford Jr. Jacquelard trying to spring forward. Congemma. Coco cut it off. Flipped it into neutral ice. Marturiello mishandles, and now Ciafrone to Mealy. Mealy walks, fires right off the mask of Bridgeford Jr. and then ripped it across the zone, and it'll bank all the way back into neutral ice. Captain Connor Coco. He and Ciafrone both with C's. Marturiello. 2:39 left here in the second. Ebley out in front, bank to center. You can really see the air that got sucked out of this, or the wind that got taken out of the sails of Middle Country, who when they were down by 3 were still playing with a lot of spirit, trying to get goal number 1, had a lot of good chances to do so. Following those 2 goals, it seems, as I said, that spirit a little broken, that wind not quite hitting those sails. Missarella trying to turn that around, wins the face-off back to Marturiello, whose shot goes wide. Graziano flung it right back toward the front of the net, where it's off a skate and skated free by Pascal. Near circle, Ledzinski shot. It's in behind Bridgeford Jr. and kept out. Another drive, bouncing around, pinball machine. It's in the back of the net. 6-0 KPC. Not sure who was the last to get it. There it is off the ricochet. Another jab from Honigman. Kovacs looked like he got a stab as well. I would give it to Honigman. And it is Ryan Honigman's goal. Kovacs and Pascal the assists. So half a dozen goals now for KPC. Declan Monkwitz. Far circle. Shot save, rebound save made Murray. He has been outstanding tonight. Honigman off the stick of Kovacs and played in behind. Grayson Benoit, lead pass for Norris. Jammed up on the far boards right in front of the KPC box. Benoit goes down as well as Honigman. Monkwitz for McMillan. McMillan Carries in, fires, blocker save made into the high slot. Here is Norris, a wrist shot. In behind and in the back of the net. So Middle Country on the board on a bit of a wacky one. Norris the shot, and it trickles behind Norris. Got the paddle out to make the save, but his own defenseman was right there. I believe, trying to keep that puck from going in. They give the goal to Missarella, and Ryan McMillan gets the assist on Middle Country's first of the night. They finally break through on Jackson Murray. Could it be too little, too late? Still over 15 minutes to play in the game. And as anyone who plays the lotto could tell you, you never know. Benoit in for McGee. To the line. Ian McGee takes it back. Far circle shot save made. Jackson Murray. Ciafrone has iced the puck for KPC. Looking for the stretch pass to Connor Coco. So with 15 seconds left, face off to the right of Murray, one in the defensive end by Kings Park Commack. They'll throw it right back down ice for his second consecutive icing. 7.5 left here in the second. I'll round down. The goal for Missarella was his 11th of the season. It leads Middle Country in terms of goal production as we reach the end of the second period. And one that started to get away from Middle Country, as it seemed every good chance KPC got ended up in the back of their net. It is the Knights that lead at 6-1. Pair of goals from Borzimato tonight. And a 5-goal margin heading into the third. Tuned in to LI Sports Network's coverage of the Suffolk County High School Hockey League. Ryan Brannigan, Frank Potato will be back for the final period of regulation in just a moment. Stay here on LI Sports Network. Welcome back. Here live at the Rinks and Hop Hog. Suffolk County High School Hockey League varsity action, Middle Country and KPC. KPC looking to get win number 8 of the season, while the Cougars in search of their 4th. Five-goal margin. 5-goal lead for KPC, as dancing through the defense and knocking down 2 defenders. Missarella, and a save made by Murray. Not quite sure I had really ever seen something like that before, where Missarella, whether he intended to do so or not, sent not one but two KPC players to the ice in lieu of a grade A scoring chance in front. Jackson Murray once again up to the task. Face off to the right of the aforementioned Knights goaltender. Controlled in the corner, at least for a moment there by Missarellum. Now the puck comes free and KPC can break out. Toward the front of the net, here's Borzumato for the hat trick, no. In behind, another big chance for the Knights. And Honigman couldn't quite get a shot through. Honigman try to feed in front for Pascal. And breaking out the other way, our Middle Country off the stick of Norris, who throws it right out in front. Pascal got a touch. Here's Maturiello, a rip blocked in front by Scott. Try to throw right back out in front for Norris. And again, it was Jack Scott in the way. Antonio Borzumato. Now McMillan, a wrist shot blocker save made Murray. Zinski can't clear. Graziano steps in, takes a shot, and a save made with the stick by Murray. Marturiello can't quite get it back to the point. Sent out of the zone, no icing. McMillan fires it down the near boards. Marturiello to pick it up. 3-on-3 over the blue. Michael Marturiello. In behind, out in front, just wide. Marturiello still with it. On the backhand, now tries to go forehand, and Ledzinski and Brown in the way. Bank to Kovacs, takes the shot, save made. Bridgeford Jr. Ebley. Far circle, wrist shot. In the feet of Bridgeford Jr. Now another try save made. And diving effort to clear it out in front made by McMillan. McGee unable to get around Brown. Graziano steps up on it. Knocks it back into the KPC end of the ice. Or Coco. Backhands off the high wall. Conjema hands it back to Grayson Benoit, who finds Norris, who backhands in. Coco, Jacquillard forechecking him. Huge hit between Coco and off the bench. Who was that? That was Norris. Coco up, he popped right up, he's fine, as is Norris. Ebley, Jacquillard spears it ahead. Connor Coco. Lost it to Conjema. Conjema, Fenn on the shot. Norris pinning Kovacs to the boards. That allows Coco to pick up the loose puck. Connor Coco. Backhands to Mealy. They score. Not sure if it redirected or not. The KPC have made it 7-1 on another opportunistic goal. One-time rip far circle. If that doesn't deflect, though, it's not in the back of the net. A great tip out in front. By Ebley. They credit Brown with the goal, but I'm almost certain number 5 was the one to get a stick on it. So the 6-goal lead reestablished for KPC. Who clear the zone, 10:43 left here in the third. It'll be an icing against the Knights. And if there was really going to be a comeback kick-started by Middle Country, you would have thought a goal The next goal needed to be theirs to make it a 4-goal game. It wasn't. If the game wasn't out of reach to begin with. It's hard to imagine Jackson Murray allowing that many goals. Back the other way, Borzumato. Ciafrone across, and a good back-checking Jacquelard made a play on the puck. Borzumato in behind, and he's looking for that hat trick. 2 goals in the game. Goal still says it's Nick Brown's goal, but I don't know about it. Drop for McGee. McGee, wrist shot, save made. Rebound denied as well by Murray. Missarella. McGee. Back down low to Missarella, out in front, and there's the stick of Jackson Murray in the way. Norris, wrist shot, looking for a tip. Went off, I believe, a KPC stick and wide. And now here's KPC, 3-on-1 into the zone. In the pass behind Borzumato. Potential odd man rush the other way for Middle Country. Here comes Norris. Potentially, here's a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, drops it for Graziano. Shot save made off the blocker of Murray. Missarella. Right. In behind the net, lost control. Knights break out. And a good poke provided by Ian McGee back on defense. Here's McGee. Cougars down by 6. Graziano trying to go forward with it, gloves it down, but Coco right there to take it back for Kings Park Commack. 8:30 left here in the 3rd period. Commanding 7-goal lead for KPC. In behind, out in front, McMillan shot over the net. Caught up in the apron of the net. And rocketed down ice for an icing against the Knights. So quick look at the standings. If KPC don't blow a 6-goal lead with 7:53 left in the period, they'll be 2 points behind Northport Huntington. They'll have the same amount of games played. They'll have the same amount of wins as well in 8. While Middle Country will still hold on to the 8th spot in the playoff race. 1 point clear of Ward Melville. West Islip also would just be 3 points back as McMillan shot denied. Jackson Murray, I'll tell you. Honeyman's shot deflects up into the netting. Making a case for himself, Kevin. Case for the All-Star game. Again, it was, who knows? I mean, there's so many good goaltenders in the SCHSHL. Varsity level, all levels. Sapoff for West Islip, they have 2 wins. He's incredible. KPC are all too familiar with in that last game out. Eking out the 6-5 win. Grayson Benoit takes it away. Headed Jacquelard. Pitched it around the wall. McMillan there. Jacquelard on the forecheck with McMillan. Try to go back to the point. Marturiello can't get there in time. Here comes Honeyman. Honeyman hits the brakes. Honeyman to Brown. Brown shot. Save made Bridgeford Jr. Honigman was looking for the return pass from Brown. And I think they just shared a little exchange there, acknowledging that very fact. I want to also, again, encourage you to hit subscribe, follow us on socials at LI Sports Network, drop a like on the like button, but maybe more importantly than that, check out the latest podcast, Rinks and Realities podcast, released right here on the YouTube channel, the LI Sports Network's channel. Podcast hosted by my two buddies, Travis Quigley and Paul Trentini, produced by Wally Mitchell. Travis and Paul are actually putting their brains together to create one of the all-star teams. Again, we're drafting 4. I'm drafting 1 with Johnny Malizia. Britford Jr. makes a couple of good saves here. Benoit to the loose puck in the corner. To Johnny and I. Gonna form Brandy's Biggins. And we're gonna obviously win the entire thing. Kevin Broderick, he's got a team with Gabe DeCurry. And that's the team that gives me the most worry, if I'm being honest. Brady Campbell also will be drafting a team. I forgot to mention him the last time I was doing this promo as a play happened on the ice that I needed my attention. As here's McGee trying to do just that. Ian McGee just wide. What an effort from Ian McGee as he was in the All-Star game a season ago. Looks to make his second appearance. He might. We'll see. As Munkwitz lets one rip wide. Konchema shot. He scores! That went in indeed. 7-2 is your score. Middle Country. A hard-earned second goal of the game, as they had a plethora of chances here. And eventually Konchema gets the loose puck. And not sure if it deflects off Norris or not. Officially, we'll see who they give it to. Well, let's take a look. I thought it went in. I was on team that was a goal. There's the block shot off the skate. Konchema loads up, fires. And that's tough to see. Norris immediately flagged for the official to say it went in. But he and Jackson Murray provided quite the screen. I don't think this is the best look. I thought it hit the net. I thought it hit in behind and was a goal from my own eyes. I think they're going to stick with a goal here. It is Konchema from McGee and Munkwitz. So Andrew Konchema, the goal. Makes it 7-2. There's another save made by Murray. Andrew Konchema, that is his first goal of the season and his first varsity goal as well. Playing with Longwood JV a season ago. So congrats to Konchema on your first varsity goals. McMillan brings it in behind. Pass McGee into the neutral zone. He had 5 assists heading into the contest, no goals. He's up to 6 points, puts him level with Michael Giambalvo, who's not in the lineup tonight, and Brody Jacquillard, as here is Missarella. Gets a bump from Ledzinski, taken away by Munkwitz. Munkwitz starts to the net. Now McGee on the backhand, save made by Murray. McMillan out in front, Graziano had to take it on the backhand. couldn't quite get it to his forehand. And now a great pass from Brown. Sends in Coco, who scores! Connor Coco, 8-2 KPC. And if you remember correctly, that was the same score the Knights beat the Cougars by in their first meeting. As Connor Coco pointing out the man who set up that goal, Nicholas Brown. It was quite the feed to spring Coco into the zone. Connor Coco now with, I believe, 6 goals on the season. No, 7. He has 2 tonight. Grayson Benoit trying to add a goal to his name. Lost it in the far corner. Far board, should say. Conjema to the line and out. Pascal lost a handle, taken back by Marturiello. Marturiello springs forward. Conjema to Graziano. Deeks and taken back by Kovacs. Less than 3 to play here in the third period. It is now 8-2 in favor of KPC. Ebley, right wing boards. Deeks, Ebley goes down, no call as he charged to the front of the net. Mealy can't keep in, but he tried, so no icing. No icing anyways, the puck far away from the goal line. Couldn't see it along the near side. Graziano on the forecheck, trying to create a turnover. Pascal with it. See if Frone lost his stick. Turnover generated by Middle Country. They try to feed it to the front. Graziano is there, and swiping it to the near corner was Jackson Murray. Norris, that shot deflected to between the legs of Marturiello, and unable to get that toward the front of the net. Benoit holds in, rifles it around. Marturiello, a couple of backhand spin shots or passes, and subsequent shot, and all the way down will be an icing. With $1:37 left here in the third period. Just 3 KPC players do not have a point. Strangely enough, one of them is Ledzinski, who was among the leaders. Jack Scott and Brady Ebley, who I think was robbed of getting credit for a goal on a deflection from Brown. So in my book, it's just Scott and Ledzinski held without a point tonight. Everyone else has at least one. The most anyone has is 2, showcasing the depth of KPC as McMillan takes it away. Here is Ledzinski. 3-on-2 over the blue. Takes the shot save, rebound save made, Bridgeford Jr. And there's enough snow on the sheet from all the skating to slow that puck down for no icing. In the final 41 seconds, dangerous pass across. Murray would not back in his net just yet. And then a deflection from Honigman. As if Murray hasn't had a hard enough night. Let's make it a little harder, says Honigman. As here is Ledzinski. Wonder if he knows he doesn't have a point tonight. Trying to push the agenda, try to tee up that shot for Borzimato. Getting back defensively. That time was Norris. And final seconds will tick off. KPC with another big win to their name. 8-5 now, or more specifically, they are 8-5 with 2 overtime wins. 16 points on the year. They stay in 6th place and improve to 16 points, just 2 behind Northport Huntington for 5th place. While Middle Country, they remain in 8th place with the loss, dropped to 3-9-1, a tie and overtime loss, as they played, I'd say, pretty darn well for over half that game, and just couldn't solve Jackson Murray. And with that, that'll conclude our coverage here in this one. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League here on LI Sports Network. On behalf of our cameraman, Frank Potato, I'm Ryan Brannigan saying so long. And until next time, folks, as always, have a good night.